Are you tired of peeling space potato? Earth need you. Join the Space Marine, son. We will make a real fighter out of you in one Saturnian year.
Aliens landed on this island and infected Cell Matrix robots. Your mission to find and take aliens alive.
They say that we use a stupid name for our technique. It's a bullshit. It's a одуванчик walking robot.
You must help his dynamic scientists to collect materials for lab tests. And destroy aliens!
How's your duty going on, sir? Keep it up! Join us in future war. In PUBG Mobile.
Do you see an alien?
No.
Me too. But here it is.
Hello and welcome to the campus series for North America. My name is DK, with me is Span Cargo, and we're going to be taking you through all the action here today. Of course, we're starting off on day one, and there's going to be an absolutely exciting time. Now, Span, we've got a very interesting lineup with the teams coming in here. We've got a few names that look vaguely familiar, and then, of course, a few names that we are looking forward to seeing those performances for. Now, coming into today, do we have any major expectations for these teams?
Honestly, I'm just excited to see how these guys get used to each other just on the first day. You know, it's the first day, week one, day one, and I don't think these guys have played against each other just yet. So that being said, like, it's a new lobby, they're gonna have to get used to each other, and that means that every single one of these games is gonna be quite interesting. So for me, I guess no expectations just yet, except that I think we're gonna be seeing really good stuff.
Yeah, and as we know, these are teams coming from North America, so that is going to be the United States and Canada. Teams from all these regions are going to be represented here, competing against each other, and as we know, they are playing also for their share of that prize pool. But first up, we are going to be jumping into our maps to see which maps and kind of the map sequence we'll have as the teams make their way through our games. And I believe first up, we're going to be starting over on a little bit of Erangel, which is pretty commonplace. We see a lot of matches and, you know, those first days usually starting over on a map like Erangel. And that is, for me, kind of interesting to see because, as we know, Erangel is kind of the bread and butter when it comes to PUBG. And I'm pretty sure these teams are quite familiar with which positions they would like to have. And I think it's going to be interesting to see once they drop down on the battlefield if we'll have any teams potentially hot dropping it.
Well, I kind of like snooped around seeing if I would expect anything, and I don't think that they know where each other are dropping. And that means that there is a high chance for some hot drops, some action really early on. And like the evil caster side of me is like really looking forward to that. Cause you know, like the beginning of part of it is always just like the looting phase. Everybody's just picking up their weapons, trying to get the rotation happening. Like at those way higher levels, everybody just always has their spot and you don't see action until like circle 3 or 4. And like now for this one, if they don't know where each other are dropping, they're gonna have to figure that out. And since this is in fact day one, that's probably all they're going to be doing. They're going to be trying to figure out where they're going to be dropping in this situation.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. This is going to be quite exciting to see how the teams are going to make their way around, and I'm hoping to see quite a few of them potentially bumping into each other as they are getting into the swing and trying to find that rhythm, trying to find that flow. I'm pretty sure as we get a little bit deeper into this, the teams will get a little bit more accustomed as to which positions they could potentially go for and kind of know where to expect any of those opposing teams. But yeah, first day, the teams having a bit of a swing at each other. It is going to be, I don't know, you know, pushing into a little bit of that unknown, trying to figure out where would be the best place to go. So I gotta say, yeah, I'm expecting some crazy plays to come from this. And of course, we are going to be cycling through our usual 3 maps, which will be Erangel, Miramar, as well as Sanhok. But Span, we are going to be jumping into a little bit of action now, as I believe our first match is ready and we are set to move straight on through.
Look at that, all the way on Miramar. We got a way northern plane path here. I mean, right by El Pozo, ending above El Azhar. That means if anybody really wanted to go to the southern side of the map, that's probably not going to be possible in this case. But Miramar is such a big map that all 16 of these teams should be able to spread far enough away that they don't overlap. But we already talked about it. They probably don't know where each other are dropping, so there might be a little bit of chaos at the beginning here, trying to look around, making sure nobody is following them as of right now, but we'll have to watch that, of course. So right now, there is a ton of teams jumping immediately, DK.
Yeah, we see a nice concentration of teams heading a little bit further down towards the south, but it seems like El Pozo is also going to be receiving quite a bit of love as we have, you know, a few teams dropping in the vicinity, so they'll be able to make their way up through El Pozo, depending, of course, on where that phase and where that zone is going to be going. We see the players there from Unknown Esports being the team furthest up to the north, and that zone now delivers, pushing over towards a very more centralized kind of portion of the zone. So unfortunately, we don't really have those southern edges in play, and that's always interesting when the teams move through to there. But looking at these positions, I think there's a lot of great spots still open for the taking here.
all of those teams that ended up jumping immediately probably going to be trying to scooch along that far western side to get down to that southern side. But we got to go ahead and point out our first blood there coming through the side of the Hillist. They got a kill on their team that hot dropped them in Pozo. We already talked about it was going to be a little bit chaotic, and it looks like Pozo is a big number. So Unknown Esports, let's see if they're going to be able to pick up any more kills in this situation.
Well, the Hillers already starting to come up right off the bat. They're swinging, as we can see. Two confirms already on board, I believe that is for them there. So this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the chaos break out in those early games, and now it is up to the players here from Unknown Esports as they are fairly spread out. They do have a few threats coming in, as we can see the players here from Mixed Mafia held up in between them. But I'm curious to see if we're going to have anyone looking to potentially play that arena section that we've got. There's so many compounds really to utilize in a region like El Pozo. So many options to make.
Oh wow, Mixed Mafia is very split up. Look, Nikri is all the way up in that compound to the northern side. So, I mean, hopefully Mixed Mafia don't get in a fight down there in Pozo because they're not going to have their full team. So they're going to have to be a little bit careful, especially since Pozo, look at that. There's so many teams in this area. Godfather kind of just waiting it out, seeing what they're going to potentially be having to do. It's just chaos over here on this northwestern side. Honestly, if these teams are able to find vehicles, I feel like the best thing to do would probably just be starting to drive the heck away, get down to the southern side where we know it's safe. And actually taking a look at that mini map there, we can see that some teams have started to go down that big road to try and make that rotation happen. One of them being Team Supreme right now all the way to the west.
Yep, and there's going to be quite a bit of congestion over on towards this western side. And now the teams are, as you pointed out, starting to make those rotations, heading up in towards the direction of zone. And there's actually a nice big chunk of teams still having to push in. But we see those hits also now coming through over in towards El Pozo as the players here from Elite Esports will pick up yet another. Well, that is in fact their first confirmed sneaks in. A potential second one does put quite a bit of damage, but is not able to get the confirm.
Well, there's just so many teams here, so, like, not surprised they thought maybe this was their second kill, you know, because there was another team in here that got a kill. Looks like 007 Esports is going to actually be our first team to fall, and that is not a good start, but luckily there are 2 more games after this, so nothing to be too worried about just yet, but all of this chaos still happening up here on the western side. Oh, and more to the center of the map right here is a little bit worrying. The Hillist here starting to get pushed by an entire 3-man. Let's see if Trickster is going to be able to hold him off. Nice knock on a 500. But of course, Clear's going to get that trade.
Man, that was such an interesting position for Trickster to be in, but up comes Carl now running in or trying to cover the ground before those finishing blows come through on the teammate. Then Trickster now just trying to retreat back into safety, but well, there's not really much to speak of here, as we can see Trickster now heading down the hill, but right behind him, the players there from N1Z are going to be looking to apply the pressure once they've now gotten those reses back up, and a little bit of suppressive fire, as we can see the players here now looking to push in. We want to see the Hillers, whether or not they can rotate in, redeem their teammate, get that res in, and potentially send N1Z packing.
This is the team that got that team wipe, by the way. Look at that. 5 kills so far. They took out 007, so now Call not happy at all that his teammate went down. All of them are running over. It's nice to see this in a collegiate match, you know? Like, all of these guys know the weight of keeping each other up, so they're trying to go for that res. Unfortunately, it's not quite going to work out for Call there, so now Hollow Sight and Iron Sight, I mean, they're going to have to try and figure out how to get their entire half of their team up, kind of stuck at this rock right now. Hopefully they have some sort of utility to use, but I don't see a smoke in their utility.
Yeah, we're seeing some good shots come in with a quick reposition there from a hollow site, trying to see if he can find the range. But N1Z, they've just set themselves up so beautifully within the hard cover that they are able to utilize those angles and really just pick away at the Hillers. As the Hillers are now stuck on the hill, and they are forced to reposition and retreat. As a, N1Z team just put up quite a bit of a fight. They weren't really able to get the jump. The Hillist weren't able to get the jump really on N1Z.
N1Z definitely going to try to be backing off of that at that point. I mean, they have the advantage, but they're going to leave that alone for now, and we can see that another fight is actually popping off a little bit further to the southern side. Are we surprised? No, because this is, in fact, to the west still. So, of course, we have Aces, Yusuf trying to figure out what to do inside that shack. We see the rest of them actually pretty spread out in the compound right by this, they're right by Monte Nuevo, and poor Shreya Nepal, Haku, he's having a little bit of a pickle. I don't know, the rest of his teammates are standing up, but not a good angle to have. Oh, but Godfather, wait a second. Wait, that member from Aces went down. This is Shreya Nepal's, time to push.
Yep, this could definitely be their time to push. But now up comes the play. Pro Dizzy trying to see if he can find the angles. Does spot the angle on towards Yusuf. Picks up the first one. And now Aces put on a bit of a back foot. They are having to try and reposition to best combat the advances coming in here from straight out of Nepal. But straight out of Nepal, they also can't let... Well, they can't also focus too much on that fight up ahead as we see yet another team just holding on towards the southern side.
It's going to be tough rotations. Another thing that I feel like usually a bunch of teams focus on right when they drop is to get some sort of a vehicle. But as we can see here, there's not that many. That was an insane M24 shot. That was absolutely disgusting. I can't believe we caught that from Pro Dizzy. And it looks like he's not stopping there. Continue to scope on in, seeing if he can find another one to absolutely pop it. Here comes the blue zone. That's not a good sight to see, especially since it's only circle one. Taking that unnecessary damage is a little bit frightening. So if anything, they got to go ahead and get rid of that team in front of them. They got to get inside zone.
Yeah, as we can see, straight out of Nepal, they still have quite a bit of ground to cover to get into the safety of the zone itself. But fortunately for them, it's only first phase, so it's not going to be doing too much damage to them just yet. Of course, Fluffy still just trying to pick up the shots, but you can see the zone is getting ready to pop up, and we'll have that second phase, and it is going to be taking itself right on over towards that northeastern side. So this is where the players will find themselves in a fairly comfortable position already set up within that zone. The Chosen being in a really good position.
They definitely are. Everybody who decided to wait and drop a little bit later on that plane path is definitely happy. But since this went over towards the east in favor, that all these teams that have already been struggling since second one, honestly, on this western side is going to continue to have a hard time. Nice spotting out there from Nairobi. Pro Dizzy is absolutely insane so far with a bolt. Usually, bolts are... usually people want to go on ahead and start using DMRs a bit more. You obviously have more bullets, a little bit faster. You can flush out your kills way easier and such like that. So seeing a bolt come into play is kind of refreshing because not too many people use it. But it looks like Pro Dizzy, he's doing some damage with that thing.
Yeah, Pro Dizzy is on fire. We saw that beautiful headshot come through. Now turning the attention over on towards Nairobi. We also see one of the Supreme players just holding up off in the distance down towards the south there, but Nairobi now trying to hastily reposition as that blue zone not only is eating away at the health bar, as is those shots coming in from Pro Dizzy, but up comes the rushes now. I'm curious to see if the players here from straight out of Nepal are going to try and aggress on towards the players up ahead there, Nairobi, or are they going to be looking to find their rotational path back in towards the zone?
Starting to make a push. I mean, they definitely know that they're doing damage. They have them pinned, so starting to make that push to get further in the zone. I mean, they don't really have to worry about getting inside zone until a little bit further on in the circles, but obviously they are still using up a lot of healing items. It looks like P7 Elites also trying to find a place to play are unfortunately going to lose. Ironically, they lose their member Death. That's, geez, that's quite unfortunate. So, I mean, Camper, OP, and Prodigy are just going to have to continue on for their poor Death teammate that died. But it looks like they finally found a spot that is safe. And at this point, everybody is just trying to find those locations that they can hold on to. Like, what is the best position that is going to give them the longevity in the game, basically? Where are they going to be able to play from for the longest? Have those good angles. Looks like the Chosen right now is kind of choosing the top of this hill, and... is it just one here, actually? Where's your team?
It seems like they are up ahead there, as we can see Lan already getting knocked right on down. V for Vendetta Daddy. Whoa, finding the confirm, and with that adds yet another point on board for the squad. But as we were looking onto our two remaining players there with Death already getting taken down, I've got some pretty high hopes for Camper, you know, just because of the name. Hopefully.
Name, yeah. Oh, you just got knocked. Oh my gosh, you just cursed him completely. Pushed right now. It's just on the property here. Oh.
That was a good play. That was definitely a good play coming in there as the Vietnam esports team comes swooping in, looking to clear them out. And of course, tell no one. We shall tell no one that the vehicle got stuck atop the hill. It cannot move. It's not going to be going anywhere. But they are moving in on a good position, coming in from the high ground, looking to play that advantage down toward the team from Vietnam Esports. As the zone now once again just moves a slight tad bit over towards that western side, but we still see a heavy concentration of teams holding on to that southwestern side.
I have to focus on a little bit longer on Vietnam Esports play there. They knew that they had gotten a kill. They only saw two other people drive into that compound. They instantly pushed out of that compound in the field to actually take them out, get 2 more points, and then instantly went back to their big warehouse. So that is absolutely insane knowledge for them being used to gain some points. And now they have an amazing spot inside of this zone as well that they can continue to play from. Tell no one, the only team that's like the closest at bothering them, really. And as of right now, it looks like they got punished a tiny bit. Didn't realize there's a team right above them, but that is a pretty secure location that they're actually getting crashed on. That is insane. Tell no one, they are here to fight.
Yeah. Of course, up comes Horse MIT, getting ready to apply a bit of that pressure. We got ER also now rotating in. Up comes Shin, looking to just reinforce the push. But now the pressure's going to be on because the players here from Vietnam Esports, they have the position within the compounds, but it's going to be a bit of a challenge as Tell No One is looking to send out those utilities. We can see the grenades are getting sent off from both sides, and up comes Ducky. Just keeping those ears open, waiting for the audio cues before pushing in. Does pick up a beautiful trade, but gets traded off in the exchange. And now the players here from Vietnam Esports are down to 2 hopefuls. Make that 3.
Oh, I do not like that location that they're currently rezzing in. It looks like Horse would be able to see them if he just looked across, like, on that wall, but nah, here comes all the smokes. Okay, they're getting that res off. It looks like all the reses are now back up. Vietnam Esports able to hide when they need to get those reses, and now Tell No One, they got a really nice angle up on the top side here. It's all down to Rish, honestly, to protect the rest of the team. If he does not succeed in this, like, it's just going to be him left, and all of Vietnam Esports potentially just W keying up that hill towards them. So got to be a little bit careful. The res does come through, and I'm a little bit concerned. Vietnam Esports is super split. One of them far away. The rest of the 3 continue to stay inside the compound.
Yeah, but that's actually not a bad approach coming into looking at where we have all these teams currently positioned. That off angle there from Rish is a good spot to be in, but he hasn't really leveraged that position all too much. And now we've got another team actually moving in Snack Attack. So the pressure is going to be on. A Snack Attack could launch a Sneak Attack. But, yeah, the shots are flying straight. Tell No One.
Guys coming in from Vietnam. Yards could go ahead and actually return the surprise, but of course they had way more people up, so Vietnam Esports is going to be able to take that for themselves. Tell No One eliminated. A nice spot coming from the team all the way inside that warehouse in the middle of the field. Vietnam Esports also going to be eliminated. 6 kills. That's wow. Snack Attack. They can actually just take those spots from them. Yeah, the entire north is now clear for them to play.
Oh, I mean, that was such a beautiful play. That is a third party of note that we saw come in. I mean, we've always been waiting to see some pretty crazy clutch plays, and that is what we got exactly delivered here from V4 Vendetta. But now they find themselves over on towards the western side, so this could still potentially be a little bit of a risky spot to be. Yes, they do have a nice position, you know, perched up a little bit higher, but we still have several teams looking to migrate back up in towards zone. And speaking of those teams, we can see the players here from Mixed Mafia coming in from Unknown Esports now fighting it out for control over on towards that northeastern side.
Nice knock coming in from Mixed Mafia. They want to be taking control of this Minas Generalized area before they leave. This is not even inside zone, but they want these kills. So DK, he's going to DK, I'm telling you about DK, is trying to push to make sure that actually really confused my brain, I'm not gonna lie. But it looks like Mixed Mafia DK, there we go, is trying to find out that last member, but can't quite find them, so I'm sure that they're gonna be able to clear that out before moving. Maybe he'll be able to stay hidden enough to play as a solo later on. Oh yeah, there you go, DK just grabbed a Bucky and is just driving the heck away, so peaceful. Yeah, oh, a lot of damage. There we go. Nice knock coming through. So, not 0 points for Unknown Esports. They're going to pick up 2, but let's see what else that solo is going to be able to do.
Yeah, I gotta respect that name. You know, the name DK, that's just such a beautiful play there. I mean, who would have known? But of course, here we are now jumping straight on towards Elite Esports. We can see them now just huddling at the edge of the mountainside here, looking to see if they can find those plays onto the teams down below. And of course, right up ahead of them, we can see the team there from 9th Universe just holding that northern angle. But I mean, we're moving up in towards the craters now. The first team that is able to establish a good position, a good holding on towards those crater fields kind of region could definitely be benefiting from that, as we still have 14 teams left. Quite a few stragglers, of course, scattered throughout. But this is where position is going to come in quite handy. Ooh, look at that, though.
Straight out of Nepal is deciding to fly inside the map. You know, that name I recognize. It's tickling my brain because I can't quite remember why. I know the hit list was eliminated as well. They were the ones that were actually at the top of the leaderboard for so long, but not anymore. It's going to be Aces instead in that top position. It looks like Elementrix is not in a good situation. There's still a ton of fighting over to the western side. It's just the repercussions of everybody dropping so far to the west from the way beginning. They're still just battling it out for these few compounds.
Yeah, but that's what I appreciate so much about these teams really facing off here. Is we haven't had a lot of those moments of quiet, right? We've seen a lot of activity pretty much from the get-go as the teams have just been hammering away, getting straight down to business. And now we see the players here from Snack Attack looking to bounce with a surprise attack on towards the team there from straight out of Nepal. We see position just down below. But Monday, actually in a really interesting position. They have quite a bit of control of the southern region.
Yeah, and once the southern region was basically wiped from a bunch of teams taking each other out, I mean, they were just able to go on ahead, drive on in, and they had all the control in the world. It does look like Team Supreme is also down here, but obviously being held out by V for Vendetta right inside that compound. They still have that compound. Look, the next zone has shifted once again, and V for Vendetta is still in that centered compound. Like, they are absolutely chilling with their location right now. They can continue to just be scouring, looking around their compound, seeing who else they can take down, everybody else is having to battle in these small ridges.
But another team we haven't really seen much of just yet is going to be the side there of Imperial X Esports, right? So we know they are positioned somewhere on the map, right? So for the time being, they are pretty dang good at playing a hide and seek, right? They are hiding, or we haven't really seeked for them just yet, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do as we get into those later phases. As we can see, they are still rocking a full squad. Same going for the players here from V for Vendetta. But now Drago is forced to make a decision, rushing up, coming in between that 2-2 split. And the pressure is going to be on as we have the Chosen, the Chosen 2 positioned up in towards the north, looking to defend the region. But they're going to have their hands full because there's still quite a few teams positioned alongside them.
Yeah, they've been digging it out with this team right beside them. They currently only have 2 people left against a 3-man. Can't really go anywhere else unless they get rid of that into those ridges right in front of them. And that would honestly be a great position for them. But of course, they first. So those versus will go down. We're down to just 10 left. It looks like V for Vendetta is in fact taking advantage of that compound inside zone, doing exactly what we said, that they're going to be just paying attention to everywhere around them. And unfortunately for Team Supreme, they're the target. They don't want them to get further inside this zone. This is finally at 5th circle, phase 5. This is where it's going to start really hurting and a little bit different. It looks like the west kind of absolutely destroyed each other. It's now the east that's a little bit spicier.
Yeah, with that we saw Mixed Mafia also now getting sent away into the lobby, and Snack Attack looking to reposition. They still have all their numbers up, and we've now been taken down to only 2 teams rocking those full squads. We can see the rest of the teams now just hanging on with their numbers that is really starting to dwindle. I mean, one of those teams is going to be the side there of Supreme as the shots find their way on in, and Supreme now just having 1 player left. Pickle is definitely not in a pickle. He is able to utilize that hard cover and just wreak havoc across towards that western side of the zone. Meanwhile, Peaceful is definitely looking to come swinging in with those hits.
Those are some nice shots. It looks like Snack Attack definitely spotting out a couple of people. Unfortunately, look at that zone shift on that mini-map. It goes up towards the northern side. They can no longer stay here to the south. They've been super happy with the way that the zone has gone so far. Wait, Snack Attack! They just pulled up right on top of somebody, if I'm not mistaken. Wait a second. Yeah, they're right behind them. Watch out, there's somebody behind you. Oh no, wait. I think they're bleeding out. Okay, I think Pickle found them. Yep, there they go. They're going to be taken down. Snack Attack is fine, but still absolutely send it straight into an action zone. A ton of people are right in front of them. And look at that. It looks like V for Vendetta realizing they can't stay in that compound anymore, just leaving immediately to start taking control of this ridge as well.
Yeah, but now they are looking to just pick up a few of those sprays. We got the players there from Elite Esports just positioned down below with that. Also, the shots coming through from the Chosen One as the hits are finding their mark. And with that, it seems like Elite Esports get the squad wipe right on through, but V for Vendetta are going to be looking to push in as well, looking to apply even more pressure. And we are now down to our final 6 teams left to fight it out for the winner chicken dinner.
This is absolutely insane at this point. So we know that V for Vendetta is basically in control of the entire western side. I feel like at this point, Snack Attack is kind of putting themselves in the position to take over that eastern side. We can see them starting to move a little bit closer, now getting in a fight with an entirely different team. It's Sons of Nepal. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that kill feed, see who's going to be taken out next. It looks like Aces is actually from Snack Attack. This isn't looking good for them. I think that they have 2 downed. And if that's the case, V for Vendetta, they're very happy with what's happening right now. Since they're alone over here on the west, they can just wait for everybody else to fight, and then they can just sweep the edge and clean everything up.
Yeah, Cloudy now having to huddle up into the hard cover there, but look at V for Vendetta. Pain and Karma, we saw some beautiful shots coming in from them. Up comes Mr. Trix now from straight out of Nepal, looking to just make a bit of a stand. They have been reduced down to only 2 remaining hopefuls. It is going to be Fluffy and Mr. Trix. Ooh, but those grenades are going to be cooked up. They are going to be sent on through straight towards Snack Attack. Oh, what a hit that was, though.
Fluffy's nade was absolutely insane. 2 go down. That is not good for Snack Attack whatsoever. They somehow were able to get those reses up. I thought that they had kind of saved it, but a singular nade is just absolutely changing the game. And this solo right here from Team Supreme could also do the same thing. Oh, wait, they're grabbing a buggy. Okay, now I'm a little bit scared. Here comes some nades from V for Vendetta as well. You know, I believe that solos always have the ability to really mess up a game for some people, but it looks like it's going to be Sons of Nepal really trying to mess it up for Snack Attack. They made the push. They got another knock, but Fluffy, I like the hesitation on that push, going for the res instead. And look at that. They didn't even need to make that push. Snack Attack is going to be eliminated anyway. They got 8 kills, but they are not going to get that top 3 positioning points.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at this V for Vendetta, they've got themselves in such a dominating position. They've got the numbers, they've got the kills already on board, riding on 7 so far. And now it is down to them looking to move in, looking to clear out zone, but also they need to get in straight out the ball. Are going to position, but up comes V for Vendetta looking to clear it out. They find the shots up in towards Elite Esports, and now we are down to only 3. We still have our lone ranger there for Team Supreme, holding on to that southern position, and sneaks a shot straight into Fluffy.
The solo, we said it, they always have an opportunity to really mess up a game for a team, and it looks like Supreme really messed it up for Sons of Nepal. Fluffy goes down, looks like Khan's going to be spotted right afterwards, and now it is an entire 4v1. Let's see what Mr. Trix is going to be able to do, but no, he's been spotted by Daddy. This is not looking good.
Yeah, up comes that full rush now from V for Vendetta as they can taste the victory. But the pressure's going to be on Mr. Trix now. Has to try and hold his own, but yeah, that overpowering push coming in there from V for Vendetta, finishing off with 11 kills and just over 1,200 damage dealt. Absolutely amazing play coming in there from them.
I'm not surprised to see those stats whatsoever. They had a great compound for the longest time. The zone kept going to them. And I mean, even when the next zone didn't land on top of them, they knew exactly when to leave the compound and where to go to take advantage of the most amount of people up on top of that ridge above everybody. So Sons of Nepal, I mean, they tried playing down in that little ridge there. So did Snack Attack, so did Supreme there at the end. But nope, it's going to be V for Vendetta that goes on ahead and takes that one. Well played.
Yeah, I gotta commend Ken though. I mean, that was a really surprising push, and it really paid off. He was able to find one of those hits, just looking to alleviate a little bit of the pressure in that final zone. But yeah, I mean, V for Vendetta, they just stepped up. They just showed us what they've got, and with that, they take home a beautiful winner chicken dinner. But now we are getting ready to have a look at our match breakdown to see where the teams are, how many points they've been able to acquire in this particular match, and that would also simultaneously be our overall standings for day one.
Very true. I mean, luckily this is just day one, so the points that they have right now, they should be able to go on ahead and increase those on day two. And there it is, V for Vendetta starting out so strong with 26 points. That's insane, DK, for one game.
Yeah, that is a really good start. We can see straight out of Nepal coming in with their 18 points. Team Supreme coming in there with 11. We got Elite Esports on 13. Snack Attack on 14. So it's good to see the top 5 teams managing those double-digit numbers. And ideally, that is what you want to have, right? You want to see a pretty good setup. It does really lay the foundation for the remainder of the games in the particular day, as well as that following day. It makes it so much more easier to, come with a good result at the end of the day.
Do not disagree. And then teams all the way at the bottom, unfortunately, looks like Vietnam Esports is currently in that 16th place position. I mean, 6 points. Oh, it looks like Be My Loot actually down there with that 0. It was only one game. We already talked about that. Just the one game. They can go on ahead and bring it back. Luckily, like around 20 points is very much achievable in a singular game. So since that was only game one, they still have a couple more chances. And I'm interested to see, I mean, just from one game, usually you're just all like, who can we focus on right now? I feel like I'm kind of curious as to who the MVP player is right now. I have a feeling it's probably from V for Vendetta, if I'm not mistaken, who was able to do the most damage while they were in that compound. But I have a feeling it might change as we go on, because there's a lot of players here, I have to say, that were very, very successful. But there we go. It actually looks like MVP is going to be Unknown Esports. Wow, it's going to be peaceful. Look at that damage.
Yeah, that is quite a bit of damage dealt. I mean, we got the 915 damage dealt. From that, we got 3 kills and 2 assists. So that is definitely a heavy hitter, if we could put it that way. And I'm curious to see, whether or not Peaceful will be taking the peaceful approach in the remainder of the games. If this is his version of playing peaceful, I don't want to see what the opposite side of that could potentially be. And I mean, we've got some high expectations. They are, of course, after this first match, looking to set a bit of a bar, trying to create those expectations moving into the remainder here. So, yeah, who gave you like a really standout performance out of what we saw in this first game?
Honestly, who started out really strong was the Hillist. Like, that team, they had 5 kills within 5 minutes of the match. Like, I purposely looked at that timestamp because that number was just insane right off the bat. I mean, it happens, obviously, when a hot drop happens. They obviously won Power Grid. And then, unfortunately, they just got knocked down to 2 people almost immediately after that and didn't seem to be able to hang on for that much longer. So, obviously, they know how to fight when they're together, and they got taken advantage of when they instantly started spreading out. So the Hillists, I kind of want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I gotta go with the V for Vendetta, not because they took the winner chicken dinner, yeah, right. But just the way that they were moving and approaching the zone. But of course, our MVP is gonna be Snack Attack there with, I believe, a really decent amount of damage dealt. Yes, they found 8 kills and 5 assists through the entirety of this match. But I mean, we each also have our own favorites that we're going to be looking at. So as you've pointed out there, you're going to be looking at the healers. For me, it will be V4 Vendetta, also because I think I have one of the masks hidden away here somewhere.
Oh,
so
see.
yeah.
See, Snack Attack, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're the MVP team of that last match either, because they just got entire control of that southern side of the zone at one point. So that damage number, I mean, they were just able to spot everybody from their little bit of a vantage point above everybody. So those are some good numbers. Unfortunately, though, like them not being able to pick up all of the kills with the damage that they were able to achieve is a little bit unfortunate. But I mean, that happens on Miramar. There's just so many ridges that it's impossible to be confirming all those kills.
Yeah, I mean, look, especially looking at the region in which we had these final few zones, it is quite challenging to make a very comfortable play in that region, as you know, it presents quite a few challenges of its own. But I think either way, the team still played a good PUBG game. They stepped up, they delivered with the action, and I mean, we had action all the way from the start of the match, and for me that is a really healthy thing to show the teams being so eager and not, you know, playing those slow calculated approaches. They just go like, you know what, we're just going to wing it, we're just going to dial up the aggression from the get-go. So I've got some pretty high expectations coming in for our 2 remaining matches.
I don't disagree. I mean, we knew it was going to be chaotic because we knew that they weren't going to know where each other were going to drop. And we have 2 more different maps to continue to see that chaos. And I mean, it definitely goes for an exciting show. And in my opinion, it really goes on ahead and stretches the limits of all of these teams' abilities. I want to start seeing that team play, the chain fighting come into play, and see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, you can never go wrong with a great extended series of chain fighting. But we'll have to wait until we get into our next match to see whether or not that is going to be a possibility. So I believe, speaking of which, rather, we are going to be jumping into a quick break while the teams get ready for their second match. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you right back after the break. What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to roll straight into our second game. We're going to be jumping straight up in towards Erangel to see what the teams will bring. And of course, we saw in the replays they span some absolutely beautiful plays. I got to say, I'm pretty impressed with that beautiful headshot coming in from Pro Dizzy.
Disgusting, disgusting. I mean, I want to see him pick up another bolt, like he better. So where you can see the plane path once again. I mean, on Miramar, it was super far up to the northern side. Everybody was to the west though, and ended up kind of taking each other out over there on that side of the map. This time it's a little bit different. The plane path decided to go all the way to the east. So again, a very extreme plane path. Of course, that doesn't mean that the circle, it can go absolutely anywhere. So starting off, it luckily looks like not as many people are jumping right off the bat, but there's still definitely a chance for people to just be dropping on top of each other. Still absolute chaos is my expectation.
Yeah, speaking about chaos, I mean, we've got our heavy hitters on screen as well. We can see Peaceful was our MVP, but we got Drago, Monday, Ironsight, and Kabir coming pretty close with some really high damage numbers being dealt there, with Drago sneaking in 5 cheeky kills. So that is still some pretty impressive numbers to see. But as you've pointed out rightly so, we are making our way into this flight path over on this side, and now it's a question as to where that zone is going to pop. Well, it is answered. It is moving straight into Sosnovka military base, and whoo, this is going to be crazy.
Oh man, then now the question is, do you think that this is going to be a military island circle, or do you think it's going to be one of those circles that's like 50-50 on the mainland and this island, and everybody is just going to be basically just having to do a 50-50 chance? What do you think?
If I'm being honest with myself, I'll have to go with that 50-50 option, right?
Okay.
I want to see them struggle.
Oh, okay. I see
Yeah.
what it is. You're a little bit mean today, huh, DK? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I mean,
it makes
50-50
for
is always
entertaining
interesting. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I just feel bad. I mean, honestly, any time it goes near Military Island, I just already feel bad. So at this point, what can be worse? But for right now, I guess it could be worse for as Unknown Esports. UV is pushing them hard, but nice team play there. It's actually going to be Taran on the other side of the road that gets the knock there. Oh, UV, gotta be careful. I'm getting smacked in the head a little bit from the other member of Tell No One. It looks like they're just completely pushing each other. Don't like that they're sharing the same city. So the fighting is on.
Yeah, but this is what I appreciate so much, you know, with the teams having that certain level of uncertainty coming in. They don't really know if they're going to have any opposition dropping in those locations. And with that, the heads just continue to fly. And we can see once again, you know, Pia aggression just breaking out, looking to ascend on to their opponents here. We've got Tell No One also still having their swings over in towards Lipovka, and this is a very, very crazy start actually to the game.
Yeah, it looks like Drago actually went down. You mentioned him being the one that got the most kills with 5 over there in the top 5 player list right on the start of the game. So it already looks like he's going out, so he might not be in the next one, unfortunately. But, man, we'll see who comes out on top at this point. Is it going to be people who are participating in these early fights, or is it those people that luckily have found a little bit of a safe haven to be able to actually loot and get the stuff that they need, the items? Like, it's so detrimental to everybody who's involved to get in an early fight like this. You don't have the weapons anymore, you don't have armor, no healing, no util, and it's just people running each other with weapons, and it's just difficult to get.
But now up comes Unknown East. The jump shot going south there. So we can see an absolutely insane signal coming in. Once again, what is going on? Horse MIT coming out of nowhere, flying over, knocking players down, getting confirms, and now it is going to be a 1v2 as Horse MIT now needs to defend. But as we jump over on towards that Sosnovka military island, we can see Elite Esports Salman now having to defend against the advances of Supreme, Team Supreme, as they push forward. You got Hyman and Ken with QT already knocked down. But the pressure's going to be on, and we can see hit after hit coming through. Tell No One getting sent away, but what the heck?
This is insane. He's been able to get 2 knocks so far with that BSS. There we go, but the push comes through. Salman, unfortunately, is going down. Tell No One being our first team that is eliminated by the way it looks like. I mean, Horse goes to MIT, it looks like, but it just was not strong enough. to hold them on. Sorry, a little bit of college joke there. No, I'm just kidding. Gotta move on. But anyway, it looks like man, even that hill's not doing too well. Elite Esports looks like they're gonna go on ahead and disengage, get away from Supreme to just try and survive later on into the game. And people are already crossing the bridge right by Supreme. So luckily they ended that fight with the people that were close to them. But now they gotta heal up and honestly start getting the good spots.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be essential to get positioning, especially in a zone as challenging as this one. But speaking about positions, I mean, the Hillist, they took a really comfortable drop spot, pushing all the way over in towards Miramar. They are uncontested. They are able to go in with a bit of a split. They can just go about their business, get those loot, get the loot rather sorted. But I mean, up on Sosnovka Island, it is going to be an absolute madhouse as we've got so many teams already positioned there. We've got the players there, for instance, like Imperial X Esports, all the way on that southern side, pretty close to the coastline. But if they played this one well, we could maybe see an interesting rotation coming in as we progress through these phases.
I'm interested to see where the rest of these guys that are still in the mainland are going to be making a rotation too. Also, we've been spectating this entire time. Elite Esports NA, they're super split. Looks like Saju is up here on the northern side of this island. Supreme getting a little bit too close for comfort. His teammate is all the way basically on the southern side. Like, they're super separated. So we'll see if they can survive as solos, because that's basically what they're playing as. They're like, don't even talk to me. Like, we're playing as solos at this point. Just see how long each other can survive as more and more people start filtering their way onto this island. I also have to point out, it looks like there's a team just on the northern side. Who is that? Is that N1Z just to the left side of farm there, that blue team? It looks like they might be just stopping up there on that little island for a second before making that move on over, and that potentially is some good scouting ahead of them to get in. Oh, but Team Supreme, no way, the solo strikes.
Yeah, you pointed out the solos can be quite devastating to the opposing teams, and that is what we're seeing coming in here from Saju. But yeah, I mean, scouting is going to be just as important here, because we've pointed this out. The teams don't really know where the opposing players and teams like to go, the way they like to rotate up in towards the zone. So especially on the first day, the first few games, scouting is going to be absolutely essential until you get a better understanding of where to expect any of those opposing teams. But I like the aggression and the tactics coming in here from Saju, just being able to find those angles on towards Team Supreme.
Oh, down goes another one. So now who's going to go and take their trip out into that smoke to try and get the res? I feel like the answer should be no one. Yeah, especially as those last couple of bullets just absolutely smack on there. I think that means that there's only one left for Supreme, if I'm not mistaken, just hiding out in that compound. And now he's running away. Just run away, go to the south, try and meet up with your other existing teammate, please. Oh, wait, Anthony is actually in a vehicle. I wonder if he's coming to pick him up. It does. Actually, I think that's exactly what they're doing. So not all is lost. They'll be reunited eventually.
Yeah, now I can do my it's 007 Esports, right? I know that was a very horrible rendition of the song. I probably slaughtered it, but
it was okay.
Yeah, you know, just as long as you can recognize most of it. Yes, that's all that counts. But now, of course, snack attack. Oh, Pickle is caught in a bit of a pickle as he changes from the back seat into the front seat. Monday gets sent away, and the pressure is going to be on. Quick reposition coming through there, but the pressure is still there. I mean, this is just so crazy. The teams just keep on rolling with the punches, and now up comes the pressure. Ooh, is this going to be the play for Pickle? Will he be able to get out of this one? As we can see, he plays here now from Vietnam Esports. Also looking to make a bit of a stand.
He doesn't even have any meds. Look at that. He has 2 energy drinks, and that's about it. Yeah, those nades, not surprised. There's only a couple of rooms to really toss those inside. He didn't even have any meds. It was inevitable, unfortunately, for Pickle there. So he's going to go down. Vietnam Esports being super aggressive once again. This is their second time just spotting an advantage and just crashing and taking him out. Oh, there you go. Got to go on ahead and do a little bit of a taunt too, you know? Okay, well, there you go. Looks like Mass is just going to take the fun away and get the flush. So now they got a good compound. I mean, it is a little far over to the western side. Wouldn't be surprised if they try to get a little bit more to the east. But right now, if you actually look, military base is completely empty of people. Everybody else is kind of sticking to the outskirts, which is interesting. They don't want to be playing in the buildings. They like playing in the forest, the hills, more as of right now.
Yeah, but I can understand why, because once you move into that military base and you start being surrounded by teams, it is so difficult to find safe passage or safe rotational path out of there.
Exactly.
So it makes sense to see the teams rather choosing to opt out of the military base itself. With the players here from Vietnam Esports now also just making their way down, enjoying a little bit of that loot, but that zone has now centered up furthermore towards the Sosnovka Island itself. It is not confirmed to be 100% here. We still have a little bit of water up towards the north. No, it hasn't been decided just yet. We'll find out in the next phase.
Okay. Well, I'm putting my 50-50 bet on Island. There's just so much more land over here. But everybody, of course, like at this point, like the majority have just committed to the island just straight off the bat, and they still have to be ready or put themselves in a good position that no matter where the next zone goes, they will hopefully be able to find a safe place in the next shift. So that's what they're trying to find. We could see some teams making some rotations. Honestly, 9th Universe up here on top of this observatory hill is the best spot you could honestly hope for. They can see everything, they can scout everything, and from here they can rotate absolutely anywhere. The only thing that could potentially go wrong is getting to a safer position too late, and then launching themselves off this hill is a little bit difficult. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but hopefully they'll be able to pick up some kills before having to get down.
Yeah, and the tensions are definitely also starting to build up. We still have 17 teams in play. We've got Mixed Mafia being reduced down to 1. We've got Team Supreme also sitting down to 1 player. And now V4 Vendetta are starting their rotation along the northern coast of that military island. They do have another opposing player holding over towards the western side, but they don't seem to be too concerned. As we can see, Hyman there from Team Supreme just trying to stay hidden as long as possible. Meanwhile, V4 Vendetta, Kabir is just doing the scouting, trying to ensure the region is safe. But if they continue to push further forward, we could actually see V4 Vendetta running into Team Supreme.
Got a little nervous there for Daddy. He was kind of rolling right towards him with the buggy, but it looks like he's kind of turning around at this point. Here we go. We're about to see the next circle pop. Looks like the only team not fully inside so far is Sons of Nepal. You can see Fluffy driving a vehicle, probably going to launch themselves off of the main island and down to the south. Look at that. It went as south as absolutely possible. On the northern side is the military base. So all those teams that decided to get as far south as possible are rolling in happiness right now.
Yeah, they're probably feeling pretty satisfied with that zone shift. But still, the players here from 9th Universe now looking to capitalize on this high ground advantage they've got up towards that observatory. But Aces down below, just managing to find a sneaky way through, setting up their players one by one, which I think is a really good approach, because there's nothing worse than having your whole team move out in one single vehicle, and that vehicle then having blown up. It is quite devastating for a team, but I mean, so far, 9th Universe, they haven't had a great head on towards any of those rotating teams just yet. And I'm curious to see if they're going to look to push out of this position, because for the time being, they are pretty safe here.
I feel like this is the time where this location would actually be the most worth, because everybody is going to be trying to make rotations past them to get to the southern side. But honestly, it's like you have to take the gamble, right? You have to decide, are we going to stay here and see who's going to drive past us to try and get kills, or would we rather just go ahead and move in a little bit further to get ourselves a better position that could potentially set us up further into the game? So we'll have to see what they decide. It looks like they were kind of getting in vehicles before stopping and getting back out, so maybe they made up their minds. Meanwhile, other people, they're just sending it around at this point. Be My Loot now on the southern side as well, trying to find a place to play. Probably going to be playing up on this hill right beside them, but otherwise they're taking to the road for now.
Yeah, V4 Vendetta also now just moving in, so we can see a lot of scouting coming through, and still we have teams looking to rotate across now, coming in from the main island, pushing down on towards that Sosnovka military base. And I mean, the N1Z team come rolling straight on through, and we still actually have quite a few teams sitting on very strong numbers. So the further they get into this game, I think the crazier it is going to get. Because again, this time around also, we have had non-stop action from the get-go. We can see Be My Loot now up ahead as Vietnam Esports Morris tries to find a little bit of a spray, but a very calculated approach we see coming in here from Vietnam.
I feel like at this point I'm kind of expecting if they get a knock, watch, they're gonna get in their vehicles and they're gonna push. Hopefully not, hopefully not. That'd be a little bit of an insane of a push, pushing all the way up on top of that hill, but that's what they've been doing. They did both times, last match and this match, and it worked out for them. So obviously they're very good at identifying when they have the advantage and instantly reacting off of that, crashing in and taking down the rest of the team. So in this situation, everybody's a little bit too far away, but I like the split that they have, and they obviously, like I said, have some really good micro skills so far. So, like I said, I really want to see what they're going to be able to do here.
Yeah, and I mean, that zone has now just centered up even closer towards that observatory hill, and this is where Ninth Universe find themselves in a very, very sweet spot. But of course, they need to be able to defend that, right? There's one thing having a strong position, it's another thing being able to defend that position. Now Ducky trying to push his vehicle up the hill. I don't think it was really designed to do just that, but on the opposite end, down south, we see Be My Loot now trying to grab a little bit more loot, and they're focusing their efforts onto the Chosen.
Oh geez, everybody now making these big rotations. I really just want to know where they're going. They don't know what's inside of this next zone, so I kind of feel like all these guys on the southern side are kind of just sending it at this point to see what exactly is open. I mean, if you haven't been inside the center zone for a while and you don't know what's going on, some teams do just end up driving around. Usually you want to go ahead and stop towards the end and start slowly creeping on in, listening for shots to see what's happening, but there's already so many people everywhere that even that kind of is impossible. But let's see, Be My Loot spotting out Sons of Nepal. Wait a second, he's kind of helping out Team Chosen over there in the distance as that starts popping off. 2 down for Sons of Nepal. It's not looking good for that one member of the Chosen, but at least Be My Loot is trying to help out.
Yeah, I mean, Commando just finding absolutely beautiful spray downs. We can see hit after hit just finding its way in with that. The Chosen also now having one of their players knocked right on down. That seems to be Dian Yu, I guess, on the opposite end. AZ now quickly just rushing in to tend to the downed player, but it is going to be a very difficult play to make, as, I mean, Be My Loot, they just continue to apply the pressure with those sprays, and oh, I mean, they have pinpoint accuracy so far. The good plays, good utilization, and now it is just, now we just need to see a potential maybe move out from there if they're looking to close this one up. But straight out of Nepal also now finding themselves in a little bit of a predicament.
Yeah, I mean, that team, honestly, Be My Loot is in a great position to hold out all the rest of these teams down to the southern side. Obviously, the Chosen, we can see another team coming in from the southern side there, so they could just stay at that shack and participate third party in all these fights that are going to be popping off down here, and that could equal a lot of kills for them. Looks like Mixed Mafia is going to unfortunately find themselves eliminated as well. We're down to 14 teams left at this point. I feel like the Chosen have kind of realized moving their vehicles around, but at this stage in the game, circle 4, you can't really just get in the vehicle and send it somewhere. You do have to like slowly, methodically move on in. So they're kind of stuck here. They have to take these fights and move from there. But nice shots coming from AZ. I mean, these teams just keep getting closer and closer, and unfortunately it looks like another one of their teams just fell.
Ooh, we also have the addition of the players coming in there from Elementrix now, just moving in from the south of this position. So we see that 2-2 split coming in, and of course 007 Esports are going to be looking to push in and applying their own bit of pressure up in towards that military base. But meanwhile, Elementrix are now just playing the edge of these ridges, trying to see if they can sneak in a quick few cheeky shots. And with that, we see the first spray down flying straight over on towards Commando, who is able to duck in behind some hard cover. The blue zone also just joining up with them here. With that, we of course now enter our 5th phase, still with 12 teams remaining. And again, not a lot of space really to make much use of here.
Nope, the zone decided to go north as well, so all of these teams that we've been following on the southern side are no longer safe here. Be My Loot, they have this shack still, but they're gonna have to leave at some point. And look at that, looks like that purple team up there, kind of missed their name. They want to hold them out now, so that's kind of the game you play. Oh, we get to stay here, hold some people out. If you stay there too long, somebody might just go ahead and give you the same treatment. So Elementrix, surprised that they're holding on for this long with all 4 up. I mean, of course, they do have one person down, but they're already getting the res. The Chosen also trying so hard, but it's just down to Kwon Yu left. So we'll see if they'll be able to do some damage to the rest of the other team right across from them, Elementrix, but it's not looking too good. Yeah, look at that. They're starting to disengage a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really blame them seeing that the zone has shifted a little bit further towards the north now. But, I mean, that purple team, the 9th Universe, they've been positioned up towards that observatory. So they still find themselves in a very controlling position. And I'm actually quite surprised that we haven't seen the kill feed just lighting up with their position. But, of course, the teams are now having to advance back up in towards the zone. We can see Lizard here from Elementrix trying to get the spray down. But the players here from Vietnam Esports have also just leapfrogged their way forward in towards zone. Up comes Hansi, cooking up the grenades, looking to find the reach, trying to find the angle. Will that be the one, though? This is such a tricky position.
I'm surprised actually that Vietnam Esports decided to push so far up this hill from their original spot. They had those little bunkers all the way on the western side, and now they're up on top of this hill. Elementrix doing a ton of damage by just taking some sprays into the smoke. Oop, there we go, kind of retaliating with some nades as well, and gotta go ahead and lay down. Some damage is being flung at them. They do have the advantage on Vietnam Esports here, but I mean, there's just so many teams up to the northern side as well. At this point, everybody's kind of pestering each other, so anybody could be getting these points, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, up comes V4 Vendetta now, finding themselves in a very centered position. They are able to kind of fight out in all directions. As we look over on towards Elementrix, they are still pushing up from the south now, still trying to apply that pressure towards the teams ahead of them. But with that, you can see the players there from Vietnam Esports now having their numbers severely starting to dwindle. Of course, Pain here for V4 Vendetta is going to be pretty isolated. We can see the players there from Elementrix now pushing forward. Godfather, Hansi come rushing in, looking to find those final hits. The players there from the Healers still holding on, but what a hit that was, though, from Walker.
That was really nice with that EP. I feel like he hit every single one of those hits every time he decided to hold down the trigger. So those are some nice sprays from somebody so far away. And as you can see, this zone once again pulls down towards the southern side. 9th Universe just inside of this zone. Looks like B-May Loot will be eliminated. They're instantly setting their eyes onto the next team that is going to cause them the most problems. And of course, that is Elementrix and A. Got to go ahead and get rid of them. And then they're definitely going to be in control of this entire zone. With only a couple more people now coming from the northern side. Let's see if they're going to actually be able to successfully hold this out. As no way. I thought Elementrix was going to get away with that, but no, Vietnam Esports Hornets is insane.
Yeah, that was an absolute insane clutch coming in there from Morris. Well done, all played, but we are down to our final 5 teams. It is going to be N1Z. It's going to be the Healers, V4 Vendetta, 9th Universe, as well as Vietnam Esports. But Vietnam and V4 Vendetta are sitting down to only one remaining player, and N1Z actually still have a full squad.
And it's not looking good. I mean, hopefully they're able to keep all 3 of those members up, and if they do that, they could potentially just sweep all of this. So we'll see. You can see that they're finally pulled up. They're making a move on over. Wait a second, the Hill List also has 3. Gotta be a little bit careful in this situation. Oh, and here comes the nades. Did that land? Oh, I think that did some damage, but not quite hit the mark. Holosite needs to go ahead and stand up and help the team, but I think 9th is kind of making that impossible for him to do. Yeah. Look at Walker with the DP. There's no way he can look over and help his teammates.
Oh, but such a good position, though, for Walker to be in. Already sitting on with 2 confirms out of the 7 for the team. I mean, that is still some decent numbers coming through. But now the Hillers are forced onto the hills. I'm not quite sure whether or not Holosite is going to be able to get anything done from that position. Looking at the amount of pressure now being applied, coming in there from N1Z. Of course, Pain for V4 Vendetta is just huddled down, just trying to stay as hidden as long as possible. But I think this is going to be pretty much a fight between the players there from 9th Universe and N1Z, as they still have the numbers advantage. But as you've pointed out before, these solos can still cause quite a bit of carnage.
I mean, if either of these teams of 3 don't know where those solos are, they start making a rotation. I mean, either any of these solos could just catch them by surprise, take down 1 or 2, and then N1Z, like, or 9th, like they should recognize that in the kill feed, and that's exactly when they're going to be kicking into action. So at this point, it's kind of a waiting game. If either of these 3 men lose a person to a solo, the other 3 men is definitely going to go ahead and take advantage of that. So this will kind of hold your breath time to see what happens as this next zone shifts. It actually goes to the south. Nobody's quite inside of it just yet. It's completely open on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, but N1Z with a good setup here. They find themselves already on the edge of the zone. You know, just on the or just on the apex almost of this. Let's call it a crater. I know it isn't really, but let's go with that for now. And this is that quick reposition from them. They're looking now to, you know, attain control of the north, but they have to contend against the side there of 9th Universe. And up comes Maurice once again. But now the pressure's on here. Ghost Flash trying to get the shot, but Maurice is on fire.
The solo, we said it. 2 of them goes down. That is the worst. Usually if at least 1 goes down, that's unfortunate, but 2, that's insane. It looks like the Hills will go down. I mean, it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like our purple team here has too much longer to survive. That's so unfortunate for them. And I mean, Vietnam is still alive. Let's see if 9th Universe will be able to bring it back. But right now, I feel like Vietnam, nope. Vietnam's going to take them all. 9th Universe eliminated, instantly setting the sights on the next big team. It is just down to 2 teams left. The solo from Vietnam Esports and the rest of N1Z Esports. Honestly, I feel like if anyone could do it, it's Maurice at this point.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Maurice was able to clutch this one out. But now, he's trying to get the spray down through. Will he be able to pick it up, though? He still has another player just holding over on towards that western side of him. And with that... the Groza comes through, the knock finds its way in, and the players there from N1Z take the winner chicken dinner, 6 kills and 1,781 damage dealt.
That's insane. I mean, at the end, if you have the numbers, you're going to go on ahead and do well there. So, I mean, but Maurice, that was disgusting. That was disgusting. I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm guessing now that that's probably who the MVP was. Honestly, the 2 teams I feel like really were insane that game are both the teams that actually start with a V. I mean, V for Vendetta and Vietnam Esports. Both of them really shined in that match, DK.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a beautiful play coming in there from, the team of, I believe it was, V for Vendetta, but also, I mean, we had that sneaky shots continuously coming in. I mean, Maurice just refused to leave, right? Maurice was just holding on. He's like, I'm going to stay here for as long as I possibly can, trying to cause as much carnage as I possibly can. And with that, we saw the team gain, of course, 12 kills. So a really exceptional performance coming in there from them. But unfortunately, it wasn't the chicken.
I mean, N1Z played it well. They ended up taking it a little bit slower, a little bit more cautious up on the northern side, focusing on the macro a little bit more. And I mean, honestly, like, why go on ahead and be super aggressive when you can go on ahead and let them take all the fights for you? You can go on ahead, come in when everybody's a little bit weaker, get the better position, and they ended up getting the win, the chicken dinner, a good amount of kills. So N1Z, they ended up playing that really well as well. It's just that those 2 other teams were so aggressive the entire time that they were basically dominating the other side of that hill for the longest time.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting to see the teams, you know, setting up such a high level of aggression. You know, a lot of the other events we've done, we usually see the teams taking a little bit more time before they actually start delving into those aggressive plays. But I mean, here we see the teams just starting it off right out of the bat. As soon as their feet touch the ground, that is what they have. Aggression. We saw it all the way over on towards Lipovka. We saw a little bit more of that, you know, just unfolding as the team started trickling down in towards that Sosnovka Island. And I mean, so far, Span, this has been a very entertaining match.
I do not disagree. I'm also interested in seeing the actual full points from that match. So let's go ahead and be taking a look at those. See who else was able to pick up a decent amount of kills. Towards the end there, it was a little bit chaotic, kind of a little bit difficult to see who was exactly picking up what, because everybody was so close to each other. Like, somehow they all were perfectly able to find themselves right next to each other, that it kind of was exchanges of kills from multiple different teams instead of like a few teams taking like 2 teams just fighting each other. It was just like a mixture.
Yeah, I'm also quite curious to see what our match results look like. But I mean, taking into account we had 19 teams dropping into this map with you know, it results in so much fighting. And of course, we are going to be taking a look at our top 16 teams and how they've performed with the players there from N1Z coming in with a very comfortable 21 points, but also the players from Vietnam Esports still being able to secure 24 points. So definitely the sheer amount of chaos coming in from those 12 kills alongside the 12 placement points, really doing some fantastic things for them.
And they're insane. We'd already talked about it. They just crash the opportunities that they see, and they're able to get a lot of kills. I mean, V for Vendetta is also down there. I mean, got 4th place this time, only got 12 points in total, but they also, we know they can fight based off of that last match. So I kind of want to see a head-to-head between Vietnam Esports and V for Vendetta after this, but everybody else, I feel like we're already kind of seeing a couple of teams finding themselves on the left side of the board a little bit consistently. I mean, only 2 matches has happened, so obviously I can't say that with full confidence, but already a couple of teams that we've been seeing here a lot. N1Z, Vietnam Esports, Vendetta, the Hillis had a great amount of points, and tricks, aces. It's a good amount of teams.
Yeah, and I mean, this is very interesting to see. You know, as I said before, the teams are looking to establish a bit of that groundwork, that ground layer of points, and as they move forward, it makes it so much easier to retain those high positions if they are able to really make it difficult for the teams still looking to increase their points. There's a lot of power coming through in it towards that. But of course, speaking about power, we have to take a look at our MVP as well to see who was the player that stepped up and played the most. For me, I personally think it is going to be Maurice, right? Just based on how we've seen those last few plays come through, I can't expect anyone else really to be taking that position.
That's my guess as well. So let's take a look at the overall as well, just to see that really quickly. Not quite surprised to see V for Vendetta still holding on to that top spot. Vietnam Esports in that second slot, 38 and 30 points apiece. And then with that great performance from the last match, N1Z team with 24 and 3rd, 21 for 9th, straight out of Nepal. Elite Esports, a nice snack attack. Look at that, actually 7th, 8th, and 9th all have 15 points. And unfortunately for P7 Elites and 007 Esports, both those teams have 0, but they're still not too far. We already talked about it. 20 points in a singular game is in fact achievable. So 19th could arguably jump all the way to 5th place if they have a great game. That is the caveat.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to be keeping a watchful eye on the team sitting from 13th downwards, right? So as you just said, you know, bringing in a 20-pointer is nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm really hoping that we see that come through either in the last match from one of these teams or potentially as we move into the next day of gameplay. But I'm honestly going to be hoping to see that happen in today's matches. And out of these teams, if I have to choose one, I would go for possibly Be My Loot, as they were just able to really position themselves in a good way. Yes, okay, those engagements didn't really work out the way they would have hoped them to, but still there was a good amount of potential being shown from how they utilized those angles. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not anything comes in for them. But it is now also going to be, you know, a little bit of a, well, I still think it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game as to see who's going to be our MVP. I definitely, based on what we saw coming in that last phase, right, I think it's going to be Maurice, right? Because, I mean, he was just positioned there, just laser point accuracy, just making it so difficult for the teams left in those final few phases to really make much of that.
It was difficult for everybody else, and okay, MVP team, are you surprised? No. Vietnam Esports MVP team. Look at that damage. Disgusting from all the matches. I mean, 2,860. No nades so far, which I'm kind of surprised about, but 5 assists, 18 kills. That last match getting 12 of them. It's disgusting. I do want to see that grenade number go up. I will say, we did see a couple of nades come into play, but not as many as I feel like I'm used to seeing. So there were a couple of really good placed nades, a couple of well-placed smokes as well, but just a little bit more. You know, if they have the utility, just go ahead and spam it out there.
Yeah, no pun intended there, says Span. But of course, you know, we're going to look to see what the teams will bring through as they get ready and ever closer to our final match of the day. But yeah, I mean, this is, as you said, you know, no surprise to see Vietnam Esports sitting up into this as the VIP team, or the MVP VIP. Wow, I can't spell today. My apologies. But of course, a decent amount of damage being dealt there. And yeah, this is a good start. I mean, what a way to kick off the first day. You know, going out there, setting up a bit of a what do we call it? I wouldn't say expectation, but like, man, I forgot the word already. But here we go. Hey, our MVP. Yes, Maurice.
At least you were right about this one. Yeah, it's Maurice up there as the MVP player. Not surprised to see that whatsoever. I mean, the damage and the kills that he was able to pick up in that last match were absolutely disgusting. But you're right. I know exactly what you mean. Like, the first day, you want to go on ahead and do well. You do want to go on ahead and set those expectations. I am going to use that word because I do think it's a good one. Not only to go on ahead and, like, it's mostly to kind of prove to yourself, right? Like, if you do well day one, like, you're going to hype yourself up. You're going to start doing well for the rest of it. Half of the battle of PUBG Mobile is mentality, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. It is quite a bit of a mental game coming through. And, well, yeah, a pretty good start there coming in, of course, now for the players of Vietnam Esports being able to establish that bit of mind control coming through. You know, just having that played honor to the opposing teams. But of course, we are now getting ready to move into our final match of the day, which is going to be seeing us head over in towards Sanhok. Now, I'm pretty excited to see what the teams will do here, as this is the map where everyone's going to be so much closer together, and also the punishment coming through for any of those mistakes is going to be so much greater as well.
Especially with 19 teams, it's going to be very difficult. And if we thought these last two matches had really early fighting, Sanhok is just going to be on a completely different level because of just how much smaller that map is. So we're going to end off with a bang, basically.
Yeah, big, pretty much on that one. So speaking of which, we are going to be jumping into a quick break. So be sure to stay tuned, and we will see you right back after with that Sanhok action.
Life. Life.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to move into our final match, and of course, it is going to be straight on towards the jungle. I don't know what a jungle is. Going to be over in towards the jungles of Sanhok to see what the teams will bring as they get in up close and personal with some pretty close quarter fights. Now, Span, based on what we've seen coming in from Erangel and both Miramar, these teams, they just not scared of the aggression. And you said it's going to be absolutely insane. So how insane do you think it's going to be?
Like 10 out of 10, more like 12 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not quite sure. I mean, the last two were very explosive. The plane path kind of didn't help in that aspect, at least on Sanhok. No matter where the plane path is, everybody should be able to spread out on the map. It's just Sanhok is so much smaller that there's still going to be overlap, especially with the excessive amount of teams of 19. So there's going to be a lot of fighting, I feel like, just immediately. So all these teams at this point have to be used to it. They already did in the past 2 games. So it's still just a matter of who can go on ahead and take that and team fight. So 2 teams that I'm specifically going to be keeping an eye on, because I feel like so far they've been kind of most aggressive with the most strategy so far, is Vietnam Esports and V for Vendetta. So those are the 2 I want to keep an eye on. If I had to make a guess, I think it would be one of those that win the match, and we're going to be sending it straight on in, DK.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, both those teams have been showing some phenomenal potential in their performances there. And now it's time for them to get straight up into the action. You've predicted a 12 out of 10 on the aggression scale. I'm going to look to see whether or not the teams will deliver with that. I'm expecting a few hot drops to come from this, as we see quite a few teams already pushing straight up in towards Painan, down in towards Sami as well. We see the players there coming in from the mixed mafia, and they are having to share that space, in fact, with the Tell No One. So, yep, some good starters, but I mean, I think Painan is going to be where it's at, even looking at the zone.
Yeah, already 2 teams fighting. Look at those red circles starting to pop off. It looks like we got one of the... No, not the elites. There we go. We're going to go ahead and jump straight on in. It's Elementrix versus Team Across the Water and 1Z. They had a great game last game. I feel like most of their recipe for success is they knew exactly when to go ahead and enter the zone. So let's see how N1Z is going to be able to fare up against a pretty aggressive team. I mean, last match we saw Elementrix kind of just pushing whoever they wanted whenever they wanted. So now both in Painan, how are they going to go ahead and take that? It already looks like at least they're kind of sharing it, one on the east, one on the west for now.
But it seems like they've almost got that mentality of, if it moves, we push or we shoot. That is kind of, the approach that they take. And yeah, I mean, that is a good approach. It results in some pretty entertaining PUBG for us to look at. But up in the north there, over towards Hatin, we can see V for Vendetta, as well as the players there from Be My Loot. Now getting into a bit of an exchange. The team there from straight out of Nepal also. Pro Dizzy and Go finding a first few hits, but now they have the ability to move up. We see a bit of aggression up in towards Paradise as well. So several points of contention here.
I just gotta say, I do feel like it is arguably a little bit more spread out, though, than compared to Miramar and Erangel. This map is small enough that all of the reaches of it were able to be met. We can already see the kill feed popping off, though, and it also looks like Elementrix is, in fact, deciding to be aggressive, starting to make the push, trying to find where the rest of N1Z is. So let's see where they're gonna go to. They're kind of just hiding out in buildings for right now. Already got 2 kills, just 2 more left. Elementrix wants to take them out. That is not a good way to end off for N1Z after that last match of success.
Yeah, but I think this is still a very healthy engagement for both these teams. As we can see, of course, they are pretty well situated on the overall standing, so it's not going to hurt them all that much, but it does open up for the team sitting a little bit further down that leaderboard to really make a push, make some advances to, establish themselves a little bit higher up.
And here we go, the big push coming. A little bit worried that Elementrix aren't pushing together, but it should be fine for right now. They know that there's only 1 left, instantly going for the flush. They know that the res didn't come through, now trying to find that very last one. That kill feed is absolutely going insane. Unfortunately, it does look like Godfather went down as well, but yeah, at this point, if you know that there's only 1 left, you just gotta push. You can't lose sight of that solo. You just have to go insane, just push all together. Make sure you don't go 1 by 1 to take that fight, and perfect. I mean, Elementrix played that exactly as they needed to. N1Z team being the first one out. Look at that, 17 teams left already.
Wow, yeah, this is absolutely insane. And yeah, I have to agree, the teams are slightly a bit more spread out from what we've been seeing coming through over on our previous 2 matches. But as we jump straight up in it towards Ruins, it is now up to the players here from Elite Esports to try and defend the region. As we can see, Aces now looking to push in. We got Yusuf right up in front. Solman looking for the angle. Oh, is he going to find it? Yusuf doesn't have a lot of spaces left to go, but he has that reinforcement coming in from Drago off on towards that western edge.
Drago, we know he's a good player, is able to do damage earlier, but unfortunately Salman is going to be able to get that damage. Drago, I mean, he's so far away. He really tried, but instantly he's going to be running off of that one. Kind of has to, but Salman, he knew. It's almost as if he knew that person across that street is going to start disengaging because we got their friend, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that. Got him down, and Elite Esports NA instantly going to be picking up even more kills. Is that only one left for that opposing team? That is a great start for them, and they're in the zone. There was nobody really over here bothering them, and they're smack dab in the center of the zone. They don't have far to go.
Yeah, a really good situational handling coming in here from Elite Esports. And I mean, they've kind of shown us now why they chose the name. That was a really good play coming through from them. But we still have a big number of teams remaining. We're still sitting on 17 with that. Aces have been reduced to 1. Unknown Esports also reduced down to 1. Several teams still riding on those full squads. And this is what's going to be so interesting is once we get into that second phase, that zone pops off once again, the teams will have to once more move even closer. And this is just going to be so chaotic across the board. And as you pointed out, the teams are quite spread out. So, you know, for me, I'm looking to see where those rotations are going to be going.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see where everybody is really going to end up, especially since everybody was so spread out and this zone did go down into a corner of that southwestern side. Everybody's going to kind of having to be taking the same areas of rotation. So, I mean, obviously the best case scenario is everybody's going to be making a rotation at a different time. But if teams start making that rotation at the same time, we might see some people running into each other. But we're going to keep an eye towards that center of the map for now. We can see Sons of Nepal still chilling, surviving. Unfortunately for Aces, it's just down to 1 left. And gotta be careful. Like, if he goes any more north, he's gonna be spotted. If he's so out in the open, I'm getting so nervous for this man right now.
Yeah, of course, straight out of Nepal, right there, hard on the hills, so looking to pick up those confirms. But we still see quite a few teams positioned out in towards that blue. But this is now where Aces all get sent right on back into the lobby. But we are also still to see where the players there from Imperial X are going to be rotating into as we see them holding up towards Dock. So there's quite a bit of ground for them still left to cover. And also a little bit further away from that, Snack Attack just rotating out of Cave now. We got 007 making their way on through. The team there from The Chosen now getting hit up in towards the north. And up comes Team Supreme rolling straight on through towards the zone.
I was actually going to point out Team Chosen. One of the players is still all the way far up in that northeastern side at this point. They're really going to have to start booking it if they're hoping to get inside zone before this blue zone really hurts. I mean, the thing is that heal strat in blue is very much a thing that's strong in the pro leagues in PUBG Mobile and Sanhok. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But first, we're going to focus on this fight right here. Once again, looks like Team Supreme is finding themselves in a fight against Elementrix.
Oh, Cyber gets the first knock on through. Of course, QT taking quite a bit of damage there. But up comes Cyber now, cooking up the grenades, sending it out. QT now just looking to move in as well to assist with the clearing here. But will Team Supreme be able to get it though? I mean, they are taking a very decent approach, looking to surround the players up ahead there. As you can see now, Lizard does find the trade-off on towards poor old Ken. But Elementrix, they've been showing great potential as well, holding their own, being able to adapt fairly well under pressure. But now it is going to be up to Team Supreme to see if they can, you know, put them to the test even more so.
Right now, just crawling around, trying to make sure that they're not spotted. I mean, honestly, I thought Team Supreme was really going to be able to get that advantage. They were on top of that hill first. They could have held out this Team Elementrix trying to come out of that compound, out of Pine Knot. But unfortunately, I mean, Elementrix, they don't want to be held. They're just going to push anyway. And luckily for them, they have identified that there is a singular person over here. It's going to be Cyber, and they're instantly going to send all 3 of their members over here to take them out. That is exactly what you need to do. If you don't know where all of the team is, just isolate one, and you already know that you're going to have the advantage. Now there's only 2 left in Elementrix. They can start sweeping the other direction, and they're going to have the numbers.
Yeah, and of course they only now need to deal with Hyman, which is the last remaining hopeful there for the side of the team. Supreme QT is going to be bleeding out, but we saw another team actually moving into this position, looking to maybe come in with a few of those third-party plays. So both Supreme and Elementrix need to still, have a bit of caution as they make their way around this hilltop. And I mean, we still have 16 teams in play out of 19. That is still some pretty high numbers, and we are getting ever closer to that third phase now.
Yeah, getting closer and closer. Here we go. Elementrix is really trying to find where that last person is, but it looks like they're going to focus on getting a little bit further inside that zone. Looks like Anzar is going to go on ahead and take a little bit of a ride up on top of that buggy, just letting them drift. If there's 3 left, that's efficiency, just hold on for dear life onto the front of my buggy. Obviously not realistic whatsoever, but they did it. Elite Esports is here now, and they got to worry about the team right in front of them that's going to be holding them out. Let's see if they're going to be pushing up this hill. I feel like this is usually a very hard angle to push up, but they're going for it. The shots are already out.
Yeah, and I mean, Team Tell No One here, they feel the pressure coming in from several angles. We got the side there of Elite looking to push up. We got the players coming in there from, I believe that is Elementrix as well. So there's so many angles that they need to be very watchful of, as they could get taken down from either side.
I'm not gonna lie, I really thought that this next zone shift was gonna go down to the southern side, but instead it's gonna pop up to that northeastern side. That means it's a little triangle there. All 3 parts of the islands are still inside. This is gonna be a difficult one, especially because of ruins. I have a feeling it's probably gonna end right on Sons of Nepal or just to the north of them. That is my guess for right now, and we're gonna see everybody from the southern side now. It's going to be terrible for them getting inside of this zone, basically. Hopefully all those people far on the west are going to be able to make a far western rotation up into the western side of this new zone. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck down there fighting until the very end.
Yeah, but let's be honest, man, we enjoy horrible. If it's horrible for the teams, it is quite entertaining for us to watch. And yeah, this is going to be a really tough one to play. I mean, especially when we see the trifecta being so close to center zone. There's so many potential sides which we could see teams taking occupation. We already have a few teams up on towards that northwestern island. We've got a few teams coming in from the eastern side, as well as teams positioned down towards the south. We can see Tell No One, of course, up on the hills, up ahead. The team Elite is going to be looking to push even further up in towards the zone, looking to see if they can secure a decent spot. But I'm curious to see now what the players further up ahead will be doing, as they're going to be on the receiving side of so many of these teams.
Honestly, those teams that are already on those other 2 islands might just be able to chill out for another zone pop. So those teams that are already way on the far northern side, we were just taking a look at a couple of them, should be able to stay up there. Oh, wow. Okay, it's just complete chaos as people are trying to drive by at this point. I think it's kind of dangerous to be driving around Sanhok right now, especially because the zone is so much smaller. There's going to be someone everywhere to try and take you out, rip you out of that vehicle. So it looks like somebody kind of got a little bit of a lesson learned, and now let's see if Walker's going to be able to do anything about that. That nade basically landed right on top of him. Great nade from Monday.
Oh, yeah, that stung all the way possibly from Sunday. Just looking at the timing of that head, Walker having some near instant regret there. And I mean, a Snack Attack, they have just been looking to play this position, but now they have the players there from Tell No One advancing in, holding the position rather up towards the north, with Ninth Universe down on the south. So this rotation coming through is going to be a little bit risky, as we have got so many heads flying up into the vehicle. Quick abandoning of the vehicle coming through there just in the nick of time, with quite a bit of damage now being dealt there.
Yeah, instantly having it hit the deck. Look, you can see the very edge of the next circle just to the northern side. They're not in just yet. Here comes the blue zone. They're in for a tough ride, basically. I mean, tell no one holding them out from the northern side. We've got a whole nother team coming from the south. I mean, maybe tell no one will be able to protect that member from snack attack. If they're looking over the top of this hill and they start spotting out Ninth Universe, that could be good for them. Maybe they'll be able to sneak on by, but as of right now, it's not looking too good. Tell no one is just in complete control of the southern edge. They don't want anybody to get any closer.
Yeah, snack attack now looking to set up a bit of a gatekeep here while still in the blue zone. Gotta agree, tell no one in a really good position, but up comes Life Vision, gets an amazing grenade on through, but Monday comes back stinging, just finding a beautiful trade off there. And now it is up to Mace OP to try and secure the angles here for Ninth Universe. Of course, the players here from Elite Esports are also going to be pushing in from that southwestern side. You can see the team there from straight out of Nepal, position up ahead. And that was actually one of the teams I was referring to before. You know, having a good position, you pointed this out as well. But unfortunately, Fluffy being a little bit too exposed there, and Solomon is able to get that knock in.
Here we go. I mean, they're still in a safe position now. So many people around them, though. Elite Esports kind of in a little bit of a bowl. Going to be difficult to get out, but already spotting out Sons of Nepal. They can hear the fighting happening over there. That might be the entrance that they need. There we go. Getting involved. Pro Dizzy is now Elite Esports kill, and they're going to actually make a rotation towards the north. They're spotting out a couple more people, so they need to get out of there as fast as possible to continue taking fights. And it's kind of concerning me that they're so split apart as that 3-man on Sanhok. Usually Sanhok, if you just stay as a pod and you start making a move around, you can just absolutely destroy everything. And what is that zone? That is... I'm so surprised right now. It did go up where I said it would go. It did go up towards the north on the water. Honestly, a little bit more on the water than I was expecting. So this is going to be a hard one for everybody involved.
Yeah, especially taking into account that we still have 16 teams remaining. There's not going to be a lot of options for these teams when it comes to those positions, you know. But now you can see the players there from the hill list, of course, pushing straight up on towards the hills, holding out just outside of Bainan, straight out of Nepal. Also going to be just snaking around in the bushes. Yes, there's so much pressure coming in from the sheer number of teams still in this game. 007 also going to be making a bit of a stand over on towards that southern side with Trauma getting knocked down. Supreme pushing in as well from behind. So there's I'm pretty sure we're going to see this kill feed, not knowing what has hit it as the teams start taking these swings. And we're going to have that snowball effect now coming through as Mr. Tricks is taken right on down. It is up to Fluffy now to try and see if they can find any additional angles. Vietnam Esports also now going to be moving further towards the north. As we can see, this is becoming quite a challenging zone.
Still insane. Vietnam Esports with 5 kills so far. They do have a foothold in a really good compound. This compound is basically the one that all these teams are going to be aiming for at this point. This is the only cover in this new zone, unless you want to go on ahead and hide out in the water in a buggy like that one team member was. Otherwise, we can see their line of sight. All of the area right beside that compound, super out in the open, only a couple of rocks to really provide any sort of cover. So honestly, Vietnam Esports are in a great location. V for Vendetta also probably recognizing the situation that they're in a little bit further to the northern side. They're just biding their time, waiting until they're being forced to push into this next zone. They could probably play on that bridge for a little bit. They're hoping everybody else will take each other out so they can get those placement points.
Yeah, and that is something that could be very, very likely here. But we see now a few players opting to apply that hill strat out in the blue zone. It is very commonplace on Sanhok, but with that, the players from Elite rush straight on forward towards the team there of straight out of Nepal. They send them packing, and now we have only 14 teams remaining. Of course, we do have, our stragglers scattered throughout the map as well. But up comes the players there from the Hillers, now looking to advance in from that eastern side. Meanwhile, 007, Scar will get knocked straight on down at the hand of Hansi from Elementrix. But up comes the rush. Ooh, will Hansi be able to deal with all of them? Sofa steps up, gets 3 knocks, but gets taken out as the Noob Gamer gets the clutch, and with that sends them
That's
away.
ironic. That is great. The noob gamer is the one that gets that kill and they survive. That is absolutely amazing. It looks like Team Supreme is now eliminated. I mean, honestly, with how many people are still alive in this small zone, we could tell that this was going to be the kill zone. People are going to continue to fall one after the other on this one. There we go. 007 now taken out. Looks like Vietnam Esports is in fact spawning out a couple of people. V for Vendetta is in fact taking that bridge. That's their only cover that they have provided to themselves, and this next zone is about to pop once again. And are we surprised to see it's landing on Vietnam Esports? I certainly am not. This might be another one for Vietnam Esports, unless V for Vendetta has something to do about it, especially as they're picking up some more kills. Chosen out now, 9 teams left.
Yeah, that is a bit of a rip right there for Guan Yu, as we could see that that heal was just about to start when the shots came through. So yeah, fantastic timing with the hits. But now, V for Vendetta having to cover quite a bit of ground, still having to push all the way back in towards zone. The team there from the hill list also now having to catch up with the blue zone as they come in from the east. Vietnam Esports positioned in an absolutely amazing position here. They still have the numbers advantage. They do have a fairly decent split coming in their favor as well. And now, Hollow Sight and the players there from the hill list are forced to push forward. But Monday comes in with an amazing grenade right onto Zayn.
Honestly, I really like what the Hillists are doing right now. They're going to be able to sneak right up on top of Vietnam Esports. Looks like Vietnam able to being spread out a little bit too much now. One by one are getting found out by all of these remaining teams, and that means only 2 are left. Hopefully they'll be able to get the reses onto Zayn, but at this point they are definitely hurt, and the Hillists, they just got here. They're not going to be stopping. I do think maybe they should have kind of stayed together and have focused on one direction, because I think maybe they took on a little bit too much. But let's see, Ducky now trying to be outside of the building, trying to spot out the rest of the Hillist. It looks like Trickster is just getting some information from the water. And are we surprised CV for Vendetta is still holding on? This, oh man, it's going to be all the way until the very end inside of these little buildings here, as this next zone's about to pop too.
Yeah, Elite, they've been playing a pretty good game here as well. Now, just near the end, this is where the positioning gets really difficult and you really get punished for any exposure that comes through. But we see the Hillist now looking to make a bit of a stand, looking to send the grenades in. Oh, the second one finds the point as Zayn gets taken down once again. It is now up to Mouse and Ducky. Try and hold on for the team there of Vietnam. Up comes the hits. Once again, Ducky does get the trade-off on towards Hollow Sight. But Bane here from V for Vendetta is hearing the shots up ahead. That zone now about to start closing up in the next few moments. So the teams don't have a lot of options. They need to try and make it play and need to try and stand by that. But I can tell you, Span, this is where you can see a lot of carnage come through now.
At this point, don't really know what to expect. We can obviously see 3 teams inside of this circle, but there are 6 teams still alive. There's definitely a couple of people doing the heal strat in the blue zone. So at this point, if these teams inside zone are not careful, they could be going out before some other teams that are not even inside of this zone. Beautiful nade coming in from Vietnam. They knew they had gotten a knock there earlier, so they tossed one, got another knock. It's not looking good for Hillist now as Trickster, he is holding on. Same with Ironside, but Ironside is taking so much damage that there's only one really left. Yep, it's definitely Ironside doing the blue strat over there on the other side of the water. It's just down to Vietnam Esports, and oh my goodness, it's the 2 teams that I want to see a head-to-head for. DK, it's V for Vendetta and Vietnam Esports. They're insane.
Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff coming through from them. V for Vendetta now looking to push in. They do find a beautiful hit in the trade-off there, but also now they're still going up against Vietnam. So it's going to be a 1v1 for Vietnam up against V for Vendetta, the Hillist. They also still just holding on for dear life. And now it's going to come down to how long the players can survive out in the blue. Have they brought enough meds alongside with them? Of course, V for Vendetta already sitting on 708 damage just here for Pain. But now with Ducky position up ahead, it is going to be a pretty tough position to make this one work.
Kind of looks like a little spider. There we go, skittering across that little land there, going for the res until their down teammate. Has to go on ahead and get this res on to Kabir. Otherwise, that is going to be it for V for Vendetta. There are now 5 teams still alive. How many of those teams are inside the zone, do you ask? 2. So it looks like Unknown Esports is finally going to be out, but there are still 2 other teams that are duking it out in the blue zone with some meds. Otherwise, it's just down to Ducky versus all the last 2 members of V for Vendetta. Oh, beautiful nade, gonna take him down really low. There you go, Be My Loot is out. We're finally down to the last 2 teams, to 2v1.
Yeah, it's up to Payne and Kabir to make that final rush on towards Ducky, and those grenades just finding the point as Ducky is now forced to try and hit once again. A little bit of caution to the table here, but I'm pretty sure Payne and Kabir are ready for that rush as they are now aware that it is 2 of them up against 1 other player. But those positions through as well. As you can see, Kabir now trying to keep a watchful eye. They have a pretty good idea of where Ducky is. All they now need to do is try to find that angle, and they do exactly that as they come strafing around the corner. V for Vendetta picking up another victory with that 10 kills and 1,233 damage dealt.
I gotta say, I'm not surprised. I feel like they are definitely...
And we just lost Span, and Span is going to be coming right back. But yes, absolutely crazy coming through. Span, are you back with us?
Yeah, that was insane. I don't know what happened for a second there. I'm back now. I'm not surprised, I was trying to say, about V for Vendetta taking that win whatsoever, because their macro play is so good that they're able to identify the places that they should be playing until they make that last push at those last couple of minutes to then take the essential fights. They're not dealing with any other fights. It's just going to go on ahead and take down a couple of those members. They're playing, they're moving in exactly when they need to, in my opinion. And it's the 2 teams that I keep pointing out. Like, I'm going insane right now. Like, I need to see a head-to-head for V for Vendetta and for Vietnam Esports, because I feel like both of those teams have kind of really figured out how to figure out their micro and macro at the same time. So I hate to say it, but I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on them for tomorrow as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, they've shown some fantastic skills and already our matches that we've seen here today. You know, with that, we're gonna want to have a look at our match results, where these teams have placed, how many points they've been able to bring in, and how that then impacts our overall standings, because we've got a few teams now coming in with, I'd almost go as far as to say, a little bit of a runaway performance.
I don't disagree, so let's take a look at that leaderboard. There we go for this match. V for Vendetta plus 25, not surprised whatsoever. Vietnam Esports not too far behind with 21. And then look at that, 19 points is the next highest from Elite Esports, and then I think it's 11. That is a huge jump for all of these teams. That is insane performance from these top 4 teams. The rest of these guys, it seems like the points are a little bit more evened out for the rest of them, you know, like Sanhok, not surprised. Everybody is so on top of each other. They're at least able to pick up a couple of kills because there's so many people around them. And I also have to point out, I just realized, number 14, Elementrix, with 11 points as well. They got out pretty early on, but they got a ton of kill points. So I'm curious, how is that going to go ahead and affect the overall?
Ooh, well, I'm prepping up my drum roll. You're not going to be hearing it, but just imagine a very impressive drum roll building up as we get ready to jump into our overall standings to see where the teams find themselves at the end of our 3 matches here today. Already, we've been seeing those performances step up. The teams just holding their own, and here we go. V for Vendetta take the lead with 63 points. Vietnam Esports hard on their heels with 51, and then a big jump, a big trade-off all the way towards the players there from Elite Esports on 35.
That's insane. Everybody else are really close to each other, like 4th all the way until like 13th. maybe even, yeah, 13th. All of their points are really close to each other, very easily changeable in just a singular game. But those top 3 teams, they're going to be a little bit harder to reach. Obviously, again, from 4th to 3rd, that's only a 10-point difference. That's definitely achievable. But at this point, we've definitely seen V for Vendetta, Vietnam Esports, Elite Esports NA, all of those teams perform in all 3 of those matches. So it seems like they're very consistent. The rest of the teams right below them, they're going to have to go on ahead and strive to find that consistency as well coming into tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, those top 3 teams that you've pointed out, they've definitely come into this with a good amount of rhythm already being established. So we have to wait and see whether or not the other teams will also get into the groove of things and just really, you know, bring their performances to the table. But I mean, absolutely fantastic start to day 1. We've seen some great PUBG right from the get-go, and I'm excited to see what the teams will have in store. I mean, this is only the start. We're not even at the end. This is the beginning.
Exactly. This is only day 1. We're going to have day 2 very shortly. And since today was just going to be reasonably the most chaotic for these players. This is the first day. They haven't played in this lobby just yet. They haven't played against each other. And so now going into the next day, they should be able to have a little bit more of an understanding of what's going to be happening. They're going to be able to look back at the past VOD. They're going to be able to coach themselves up, you know what I mean? And tomorrow, I have a feeling we might be able to see a tiny bit more structure. Maybe we'll start getting some surprises. Maybe some teams are going to be able to come back.
Yeah, who knows? That might be exactly what we get. But of course, on that, we're going to end it right here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, and we look forward to back again tomorrow as we continue on with our second day of the campus series for North America. With that, have a fantastic time and see you all back later.